Hello, this is Dale Matthews with the Dale and Mike Show, and as you can see, I seem to be in a slightly different place. I am in a different place. I'm over in the courthouse, and Mike is across the street at Republican headquarters. Hi, Mike.
Hey, you know what? You might want to repeat that because it took about 5 seconds for us to go live, and so we've just gone live now. And so just go like you're just going live.
Okay, I'm just going live. Hello, and welcome to Tuesday night election coverage from badcounty.com. And as you can see, I'm not in a normal place, am I ever? I'm over here at the courthouse, and we're going to hear in just a few minutes or a few seconds or a couple of days, we'll be hearing from Art Harvey, who's going to tell us what the results of tonight's levee are. And Mike is across the street at Republican headquarters. We're not Republicans. And he's going to talk to you a little bit while we're waiting for Art.
All right, thanks. And while we're waiting here, I'm sitting here talking with Vivian, and you know, hopefully it's not too long before Art comes out, and we'll get the big news, and we'll either be laughing or crying or something like that.
Blowing up black balloons.
Blowing up black balloons. Yes, that's what I'm looking forward to. So anyway, it's a pretty lively party atmosphere over here at the Republican headquarters.
It's a lively party atmosphere at Republican headquarters? Come on.
Yes, imagine that. At a party headquarters, there's a party going on. Who's that coming out now?
Well, it might have been, and no, never mind. Probably not. Oh, now they're actually they're locking the door. Oh,
Rob,
there'll be no
if you tell all those people they're about to announce, they can come up here and hear it.
You're from 5?
Looks like there's some TV news over there at the same time. So,
yes,
you know, this is
Channel 5
maybe
is
boring here for a few minutes while we're waiting to hear what's going on.
Channel 5 is here, Mike, because they care about Josephine County.
All right. Well, that's good.
They get most of their news from the Daily Courier.
Yes. Well, at least they're here to get the unfiltered news tonight.
Yes, it'll be live, and then, but you know, you could wait. Probably 5 will put on some kind of announcement before the 11 o'clock news, I would think. Yes, she's nodding her head. Yes, that will happen. So sometime after we're done, they're going to announce the news. That's okay. We're just slightly beating the pants off.
Right.
We're not going live like you guys.
No,
we have
live.
a real deal here.
That's right, yes. We're internet television. Whoa, that's a big deal.
Okay. Well, this is scintillating the waiting for something to happen. Is that Art? Art's coming out the door. Oh, he faked us out. That was what you call a head fake in the business. Yes.
Here he comes.
Oh, here he comes. Here we go. Election results. Election results. He's trying to make it so that we can't get the shot here.
No,
isn't that
every year he hands it out to everyone but me.
Yeah.
Mr. Harvey, you're welcome.
You're the first one outside.
Are you going to voice any of this, Art? He doesn't speak to me either. No, he doesn't speak to me. He doesn't hand me a press release. So it's going to be up to us. What does it say, Beacon?
Well, let's see. Do you want all the people first?
No, I want to know, did it pass or fail?
53 to 46.
53 to 46. That news live from Mark Seligman, the marijuana. I mean, you know.
Yeah. Hey. What is it? 53 to 46. What?
So it's
53 to 46. It did not pass.
There it is.
53 to 46. It did not pass.
53 to 46. Oh, yeah.
Bill Matthews, thank you. You did it again.
Yes,
Good
sir.
job.
All right.
All right.
53. Hey, Mike.
Yes.
53.99. So effectively 54.
What?
Yes.
What now?
53.99.
It was 53.99.
Here comes this Art Harvey impersonator now, walking by again.
No. Hey, Dale.
Oh, no. County employees can't get in.
Hey, Dale.
Yes, sir.
Well, it was kind of hard to hear for a second with the applause uproar here. but 53 to 46. Is that correct?
It's 54. It's 53.99. So
Okay, so 54 to 46 here.
Okay, so we're going to walk back across the street while we're continuing to talk to you. So Deacon, let's walk across. Now this might be a little bumpy, but we're in for a bumpy ride. Once again, people like Art Harvey lost this election. Thank you.
8 points. I said 8 points.
Yes, you did.
7.9.
All right. Thank you for the role you played in this.
Okay, awesome.
Here we go. We're walking across the street, Mike. We have a triumphant march across the street, 54 to 46.
Okay, yes, we're watching Dale coming back over to Republican headquarters, and that's just very exciting. Okay.
That was very exciting. That was more than exciting. That was worth my whole day.
He's the first person to disobey the law after the election. Jaywalking. So, oh yes, this is the traveling shot.
Yes.
I mentioned to you, Mike,
That's very cool.
that once again, Art Harvey skipped over me and would not. He handed out press releases to everybody, including a local dog, but not to me.
Yes.
So that's okay, because we're not
I see that.
No. Thank you very much. Be sure that he's not co-levee voter. Just run over us. We are live. You don't see this very often. Hey, Channel 5. Hey, Channel 12. Try this.
Yeah, that's right.
This is.
Sure, if you like, go ahead. It looks like we're going to sing God Bless America over here. So if you listen in the background, that's what you'll hear. Grateful Republicans for the levee going down to defeat here.
Through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the ocean, white with gold.
That was a hoot. It was. There you go, buddy. You were great.
I'm going to have to see what that looks like in the end.
Yeah.
You're going to need to move that tripod there, bud.
Yeah. Unrig this thing. We're completely done with this?
We're completely done with that. Okay. Is Beacon live? Or are we live?
Well, yeah, Beacon is live here, but hang on just a second.
He's just trying to hog the camera.
Yes, that's right. Here we are.
Hello.
That was
nice to see you.
That was amazing and fantastic.
Probably
and
copyrighted
all
music.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, copyrighted music. Yeah, we'll be catching heck for that.
Well, we tried to play Angels We Have Heard on High with little kids singing it at the courthouse.
Yeah.
And actually Google stepped in and said, you can't do that because Angels We Have Heard on High is owned by this company in Mexico.
Go figure.
Can we focus on this?
Go figure.
No. No, but we can tell you what it says. So, okay. So Mike has told you, I've told you, that it's 54% have turned down the levee.
Yes. Isn't that nice?
Yes. So now we're going to start talking with experts on the subject.
Oh, yes.
And the first one will be our phone call to the police chief. He's sitting in a meeting, and the second one will be Vivian telling us what it says on that piece of paper. Sit right there, Vivian. And well, no, you'll be right after the police chief.
You know what? Why don't you do that because it's going to take me a second to get him up on there.
All right.
So
Now, the police chief, we will have him join us in just a moment. He's in a meeting of the city council and said, as soon as you know what the results are, you get in touch with me, Dale, which we will, because we're the ones with the news, buddy. We are your source for news, and we're live. You saw that walking across the street? That's
yeah, that
cool.
was very cool. That was very cool.
Nobody ever does that. Yes, please do put those headsets on. Vivian's going to put headsets on. This is Vivian Kirkpatrick Pilger Smith Jones. And
yes,
no, just Kirkpatrick Pilger. Okay. And she's going to tell us what this piece of paper says that she has in her hand.
Right.
It's a death threat. No, what is it? It's the election results. Same thing.
Results that Art Harvey would not hand to Dale Matthews.
That's right.
And he will never live that down.
He didn't even talk to me. He wouldn't talk to me.
Well, this is why. Because Measure 1766, law enforcement funding, the yes votes were, well, 11,210, or 46.01% of the vote. And the no votes were 13,154, or 53.99. In other words, known as 54%.
Hold on just one second. Yes, you're trying to tell me something.
I'm going to give you guys a copy of this later on.
What?
Oh, we're going to say that in just a second. Thank you very much. Okay, go ahead, Vivian, and tell us the rest of that news. Okay, so what was the total number of people who voted, and what percentage was that?
24,364 people voted on Measure 1766.
That's about half.
Yeah.
That's traditional.
Yeah, that's about a 50% turnout. So that's not, I mean, it's usual. So of registered voters that turned out and cast their ballot, there were, 24,435 people that cast their ballots. Registered voters were 51,000. So we had 47% turnout. That's nice.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
For a May election?
Yes.
But of course, there was a levy on the ballot.
Do you want me to read any of these other results?
You mean the school board people? No. Well, I think we can wait for the Daily Courier to eventually get around to reporting the news on that one.
Okay. I didn't know they had a sanitary district up here.
Yeah.
But
well, we face the same thing in the weekly business
I
session.
can afford to keep my property now. That's good.
Right. Now, Mike's on the line, getting the police chief on the phone. Good guy. He agreed to talk with us no matter what the results were.
That's nice. Did Dave Daniel agree?
No,
to talk
Dave
to me?
Daniel does not want to talk to anybody on any subject, including the minors. Is he with us? Okay, we're now going to go to,
Okay.
Thank you, Vivian.
Thank
We're
you.
now going to go live to a hookup with the police chief.
Turn this off
You
now.
can turn that off. Bill Landis is live on the phone with us right now. Hello, Bill.
can you hear us, Bill?
I can.
Okay.
So have you heard the results yet, or do you want to hear them from us?
Yeah, I'll hear from you. I haven't heard them yet.
Okay, the result is the levy was defeated with 54% of the votes, sir.
I couldn't catch that, Mike. What was it?
That's Dale. And the levy was defeated, it's no, with 54% of the vote, sir.
54% no.
That's correct, sir.
Okay.
So if it was 51% or 50 and a half, there'd certainly be a recount. But this was fairly close as we had predicted, but it's a solid win. 54%, depending on your point of view, solid win or solid loss. 54% no. So you are, pardon me, a great guy. It chokes me up. You were a great guy, and you agreed to meet with us, to talk with us, regardless of what the vote was. So what will be, at this point, sir, your first blush response?
So, Mike, only because there's a lot of background noise, I just can't hear your question. So, could you repeat that?
Yeah, he's asking what your first response is.
Well, I guess my first response is that the people have spoken. That's our election process, and certainly the people had their chance to weigh in, and that's what the people have spoken.
Yes, sir. Now, what's going to happen next, do you think, for law enforcement in Josephine County, now that and in the city, and having to do with the jail, now that the levy has not passed? Certainly, you've prepared for this either way. What is what's your game plan starting tomorrow, sir?
So again, Mike, you've got a lot of background noise there, so if you could get to an area that's quieter, I can't hardly
Okay,
hear you.
that
Yeah.
we can't do, but I can speak up, and this is a little bit loud, but what I'm going to say is certainly you have planned either way. That's the kind of person that you are. That being the case, what is your game plan hitting the ground running tomorrow morning, sir?
Well, tomorrow morning I'll probably do what I always do, scope the work and figure out what the challenges are for the day and go from there.
What would you predict? You just came out of a meeting of the city council, and my guess would be that you've got a pretty good idea of what they're going to do in the future as far as funding additional jail beds as they've done in the past. Where do you think they may be going with that, sir?
You know, actually, if I had that information, I could share that with you. I
Yes.
honestly don't have any idea what council's plan is. I did just come out of the budget committee meeting. The city's budget was tentatively approved by the budget committee, but there was no discussion, nor have I had conversations what the council plans to do based upon the outcome of this.
Is there a possibility that they will propose continuing the water and sewer fee that's funding the jail? Because from what I recall, that's up to be discontinued in July. Is that right?
So, as the utility tax was passed, it sunsets at the end of June.
Oh,
And
right.
There is no plans, as far as I am aware, of additional funding after June 30th at this time.
Okay.
Well, now we did, by the way, at your suggestion also, and we would have done this anyway, we did invite the sheriff on. At this moment, things having to do with the miners and things having to do with this levee, he just preferred to not make any comments. He had indicated that he felt that he had been maybe a little abused by the media. Okay, it's nice that we're being called that. So we will obviously give him more of a chance. And I've spoken with you too about the idea of maybe helping this next time around with perhaps leaving out the thing about the 10% skimmed off the top by the commissioners. That was going to be almost $1 million, Mike.
A year.
Yeah, a year. And perhaps there's something we can do to make sure that law enforcement gets all of the money and that it's not left up to anyone else's discretion, sir.
Yeah, and you know, that's probably above my pay grade as far as how that could go and what should happen with that. And you know, one of the things of those of us tasked with law enforcement sometimes is trying to just basically get what we are tasked with doing with what we have. So as far as how that might look in the future and what the needs are, I think obviously there'll need to be some discussions about that to figure out where the county as a whole goes forward.
Well, one last question for you, if you will, and thank you very much for leaving that meeting to come and talk with us. The last question would be, you've done a lot of thinking about this. What is your impression of the reason that the county population said no to this?
Well, I don't think there's a simple answer to that. I think there's been a lot of answers that are statements made by different people. Trust, obviously, is certainly an issue. People trying to understand what's needed and what the costing of that should be. And I think there's been a whole lot of discussions about some of the different issues, maybe why people wouldn't support voting for this measure or the other measures, I guess you could say. So I think there's been a whole lot of discussion about a whole gamut of issues. What one may be the biggest issue, I couldn't tell you. Maybe public trust. I think in any governmental agency, I think trust is always going to be most necessary for people to feel comfortable that they're being represented and that the services are being provided as they're supposed to. So perhaps that's the biggest issue.
Well, once again, Mike, I think that this is our intelligent guy to talk to about this because,
no,
do we agree with you.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. So.
Yep. Thank you again for your time, and we'd love to have you on the show to talk about future paths and how we can all maybe reconcile some of our differences.
Yeah, you bet. Well, thanks for calling, and I guess I'll talk to you guys in the future, I'm sure.
Yes,
Okay,
we will. Thank you.
Thank you,
All right,
Chief.
good night.
All right, bye-bye.
You know, Mike, it's easy to be magnanimous when you're the winner.
Yes.
I'd much rather do that. Okay, so we have joining us right now, as soon as Mark's done talking to him.
Yes. Yes.
We have with us now Joseph Rice, and he's a pretty famous guy now with Oath Keepers. Well, yes, he is.
Yes.
No, not. Yes, you are. He's with Oath Keepers, and he now finds that Oath Keepers and the mine owners have a lot in common with the marijuana growers.
Yes,
because
that's what we're hearing.
Sarah Walker is saying there's no benefit to the community. By the way, just yesterday, Cheryl Walker said in a meeting just yesterday, we haven't announced this yet, so you're the first to hear it, that when individual companies and groups like loggers make a lot of money, why, that's wonderful for the county, and they should make all the money that they can, because that's really good for economic development. So what do you think that miners might say about such a statement from Cheryl Walker?
Yes.
I'm thinking Cheryl Walker needs a little education on how taxes form the foundation for our community and society. The thing that's sad about this, our road infrastructure in Josephine County was not built by timber. It was built by mining and the miners. Our history of mining, maybe actually what she could probably do when she walks down through the courthouse next time is look up on the wall and notice the mural, which has timber, agriculture, and mining. This is how Josephine County was built. I mean, these are people, these individuals work hard. It is hard work. I mean, they are literally scratching their living out of the ground.
Literally.
Yeah.
And looking, Danny, the caretaker up at the Sugar Pine, he's been very adamant about bringing on his documentation and showing how the miners pay a substantial amount of money. And as I've discussed it over the last couple of weeks, since this has kind of been going back and forth between Commissioner Walker and Danny, is they're close to $300,000 a year out of the mining community that's paid into the coffers of Josephine County.
Yes, and you know what? Cheryl Walker's response to that is that that money only is enough to generate the permit or to do whatever paperwork has to do with that fee being paid. So I'm thinking, that's a lot of paper.
That's expensive bureaucrats.
Yes.
Well, I did go in the courthouse one day, and I did pay $4 for a single Xerox copy. So apparently they're using a very expensive ink up there.
Well, as Simon Harris said to me, Mr. Matthews, it's going to cost you a lot of money to keep track of what we're doing.
Yes.
Nice, huh, for a public servant? So, Joseph, talk to us a little bit about the levee, would you? I mean, I'm glad you got a chance to talk about miners. Why does he keep bringing that up?
This is well, and the thing with Oath Keepers and the mine is not the only thing that Joseph is involved in. He's he was a major player in this.
He's a colonel player by now,
right? In the anti-levee movement here, and between him and Bill Hunker, a great team and a great accomplishment. No one expected, after as tight as it was the last time, for it to be this kind of a spread, 54-46.
So tell us about the levee. What's your opinion?
Well, it's huge, and that spread, as Mike's saying, is tremendous. I think it really shows the values of our community. And what I think is important here, and where this levee failed, was its lack of transparency.
Oh, you think?
Yeah. Absolutely. And we ran a budget on what they were promising, what they said they were going to provide. Even if they provided 3/4 of it, it was not enough money. So right then, it's our problem with our county government. If you are going to budget something out, as households in Josephine County do, they live on budgets. They figure out how much money to pay the rent, to buy the food, put gas in the car, pay the insurance. These guys were reaching for a magical number, and they did it on a fictitious poll by a marketing company. And what I've advocated is, it's clear. I want to put out there, I'm not against public safety. We should have public safety. But what I'm absolutely adamantly against is the lack of transparency. We are the people of Josephine County. We're the citizens. And when our government takes actions on our behalf with our tax money, they owe it to us, and they have a responsibility to break it down to the penny on how that money is going to be spent. And what's important about that transparency, that leads to accountability if they don't do it that way. And that was the one item in this levy that I was absolutely opposed by, because they didn't tell anybody how the money was going to be spent.
Thank you. Thank you for coming here. By the way, important thing for you to know. Next Friday, here in this room, 5:30, candidates for county commissioner will be gathering and talking. Now, come on, don't be that shy. You can at least come and gather information. Joseph Rice.
I would probably sit in on that and see what was going on.
Yes.
I would probably do that.
Just you, no security people, no armed guards.
I've ditched my security detachment. They've been trying to provide me one. I don't think it's that necessary, but
just straight cuts, please. Okay, so now we're going to be joined by Bill Hunker. Bill's going to come in because Bill had something to do with this levy win.
Bill was much better educated than I was, so I'll turn this over to Bill.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Back to Wes. Yes. So, Mike.
Right below.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just a mistake.
Okay. All right.
Take it
Gotcha.
easy there. Well done.
Oh, yeah. I'm taking it easy. Don't you worry. Okay. So now, and in case you're tuning in late, why would you be tuning in late?
Yes.
Okay. The vote was 46 to 54 with the levy being defeated. And you can see that on the crawl. That's TikTok for that thing running across the bottom. And so we're now going to talk with Bill Hunker. Now, Bill was the one that joined us every Friday, and we hope he will continue doing so, to talk to us about levy numbers. And it was the wasn't the police chief, it was the sheriff who said that Bill's numbers were he was talking about Bill. We know that.
Yeah, he was.
That his numbers were what was a myth.
Yes, they were a myth. It was just flat
It's
out
a
not
popular myth. 54%.
I love that part.
Yeah.
So tell us about.
Well, look at the smile on this guy's face to begin with. Now it's clear that this spread has you feeling that you did the job that you needed to do, and after last year, with how tight that was, it was very, very close. And this is quite a spread. This is almost 10 points.
Yeah, and if you go back, excuse me, 3, it was 500, then it went to 1,000. Now we're at 2,000.
Difference, individual voters.
Individual voters.
That's big.
And that's big. And you know what? Let's go again. We'll go 4,000.
Oh, no. Let's not go again. What's the matter with this guy? Don't go again.
Yeah,
okay, so Bill,
not good.
you've done a lot of talking with us over the last number of Fridays about what brought us up to this point. Let's not go over that again.
No.
Please tell us, in your opinion, what would have happened if this had passed?
Boy, I know that I would have kind of been discouraged and stepped back.
You think?
A little bit because of the years, the 5 years. And you knew that what we would be giving them is permission for 5 years to go on and do the same thing they've been doing. And that's what's tough about that. I said, okay, if it was a 1-year levy, we kind of gear up and go at it again. But for 5 years, that's a long time to hang in and fight the good fight.
And there probably would have been followed up by, well, aren't they planning right now for the next levy?
Do you know they are?
I think they're having a meeting this evening.
That's right. The foundation is already set on that building.
So tell us, if you will, what you think is going to be the result of the organization, the loose organization, true grassroots, that was formed around this subject. What are you going to do, since you're one of the people, and it's one of the wheels of this, not the only one, there isn't just one person.
Never.
What do you plan to do with this loosely organized group of people? Don't tell me you're going to take a nap now, please.
Well, a nap is first. And
yes, brother.
I'm encouraged, number one, by the vote, but also by the people that have come out during this last few weeks, a couple of months. I didn't see that a year ago. I didn't feel it like I do now. I get phone calls, I get emails, people, oh, who are you? What are you doing? I'm interested. That's very encouraging because it's growing rather than just having one thing happen and, okay, we'll all disband. I think this is the beginning rather than anywhere near a closing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no question about that.
Yeah.
Another thing to ask you about, they spent a boatload of money on this.
Yes.
So much money. You know, I'd encourage them to please sell their homes and cash in all their bonds for their children to go to college, and move into a tent in order to be able to. Boy, the people that really made off like bandits are the Daily Courier and Keijo, who got so much money. You know, they had full color 3D ads that pop out of the screen of the paper and walk across the street and force you to vote.
And listen, I think the message of this whole thing, Bill,
you can't buy an election,
right? Well, you can't. It's very, very difficult to fight against a true grassroots operation, because I'll tell you what, that's what was going on here in the opposition. It was a true grassroots. It was the people getting together about this. It wasn't just a tight little group of people who had a political agenda to satisfy.
Well, now, why do we know that that's true? Okay, because as you know, on this show, it's the apogee and perigee of hyperbole, and this show many times, mostly by me. The reason we know that to be the case is we don't laugh at me. We've got get him a dictionary. We have. He knows what all those words mean. I'm just kidding. We know because
I actually don't know what all that means, but
don't confess that.
Yeah, I'll Google it when I get home.
He's going to Google it. He's going to do the Google. We know that because we've shown you the tape twice. Keith Heck was the guy last summer who kicked off this thing, and he's been saying ever since. He'll probably say it again tomorrow. Well, the commissioners had nothing to do with this. We saw him kicking this thing up. This was not citizen initiated by totally independent. You know who the movers and shakers were because you've been to a lot of this. Who were they?
And listen, part of the problem here is that after it leaves the commissioner's office there, then you have SOS and Cuffs, and these are insider organizations. These are not, I mean, the core of them are insider organizations. Now, they have some useful people working for them that they have brought in, and these are people that are
Archie Lighty of SOS. Yes, I like the guy.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that there is a core of just regular citizens who really are concerned about their community. I'm not taking anything away from these people.
I agree with you. Yes,
it's just that the way we're doing it is wrong.
Do you think that core knew that they were faking their results? Do you think that they knew that 11 of the ministers out of 21 were all from the same church?
Yeah, I do. I do think that. And that's listen. You should mistrust these people when they do this again, because it's what it's going to be. They're probably going to kick this thing off in a month, and start strategizing how they're going to do this again. And no, it's clear that they weren't being honest. This was a pass the levee by any means necessary.
Well, we did keep catching them. It's not just us saying that. We did keep catching them, and we were showing you the videos of that. And one of the examples is that Cheryl Walker's in a weekly business session. Now, nobody can talk about the levee during this time. Okay, we didn't. We didn't even park near the Ann Basker Auditorium. But Cheryl Walker, for the second year in a row, actually deliberately broke state law. And when we asked her, well, why did you do that? She's got no answers. Just comment to us a little bit about the lying, would you, Bill? Please. Don't include yourself.
It's what you saw was desperation, I think, in action. You saw people who maybe they'd done their inside polls or whatever, and they ended up saying, oh, we've got to do more. We've got to do more. I'll tell you what I think's happened here, though, is that they have burned their territory over financially. And you go back to the people who gave 20,000 and asked for another 20. I don't think that's going to work.
Yeah.
And I think that when you go to the car dealers, they're going to say, well, guys, how often are we going to do this?
Yeah. Well, one of the things we noticed is in the last two elections for the levee, there's a row of lawyers that lead straight up to the DA's office. When you go around behind, little inside politics here, when you go around behind to the city council meeting, there's all this row of lawyers. Not a single sign, not a single pro-levee sign, and they used to be carpeted with those. Now, what was the thing with the signs? It's obvious that their consultants told them, don't put up signs because they didn't,
or something like that, because you were hard pressed to see a sign somewhere.
And this thing about, well, both sides steal them. It's impossible. There were no signs.
They
for
never
them.
went up. They
Yeah.
never went up in the first place.
Both sides.
I just talked with Bill Hill, who had done a lot of Merlin and roads out there yesterday. He was out collecting signs, and he says, I've lost 100
Wow.
that he had put out himself.
Wow.
And
Wow.
yeah, so and he keeps track, and I think he has a little chart.
Golly.
I don't
Yeah.
think there was 100 yes on the levee signs out in the
No,
whole
I
county.
was driving around trying to find them, and they weren't any place
Yeah.
except in my trunk. No, I didn't.
We have a video of that.
Yeah, that's right. No, we actually do have a video of somebody doing
And we're
that.
going to show it on badcounty.com.
We have.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Bill. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Great congratulations all around, guys.
Yes, for everybody. Thank you.
Yes, for everybody.
So,
That's
Mike, this would have been a totally different atmosphere if this result had been different.
right. Oh my gosh.
How depressing.
You should have. Did you hear it through your earbuds when I announced it?
I
here?
did.
Yes,
Yes. Everybody heard that. Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Well, we have with us right now Joshua Robinson. He is the son of Art Robinson, but he's famous in his own right. He is the chairman of the chairperson, I suppose, to be non-sexist. He is the chairperson of the local Republican Party and took a brave stand in deciding to bring that issue to the Republican Central Committee and say, do you support this levy or not? There was a lot of controversy about that, Joshua.
There was, but 66% of our PCPs voted to
Get
oppose.
right up on that mic.
PCPs, he means precinct committee
Yes, yeah,
persons.
he's not talking about drugs here.
Right.
They voted to oppose the levy, and that is in accordance with our bylaws, and we supported that, and I think it was very worthwhile. And we're very pleased with the outcome.
Well, we were there, thank you, and we weren't videotaping. Thanks a lot for that too. And you voted in favor of it. And there were people who were saying during that vote, well, people were confused. They didn't know. They said that about the levy the last couple of times. Nobody understood the levy. I think they did understand the levy. What's your opinion, sir?
I think they understood the levy. Yes.
Yeah, and you know what? You would hope that perhaps local businesses and political parties and things of that nature would understand this is the undercurrent of the people in the county here. And how about not shoving this down our throat again? For
And stop referring to it as the undertow. It's the undercurrent.
Yes.
Okay, so you've got a big task ahead of you, Joshua Robinson, because honestly now, there's been somewhat of a split in the party. I don't know if it's 4/5 and 1/5, but there's a split in the Republican Party, and of course you want party unity. What the heck are you going to do to regain party unity?
Oh, that's a good question, Dale.
Well, I don't think it's as bad as people would think it. Perhaps.
Of course he's going to say that. Come on.
Well, when you look at that, 66% voted to oppose the levy, and then the rest, they didn't take a position. They didn't vote not to oppose it.
Right.
They didn't vote in favor of the levy. They just voted not to take a position.
So probably, if you were to guess, and this would be a tough one to do,
would be.
But of that 21% that didn't vote to oppose the levy, or I guess it was more. It was 40.
Or didn't vote to
40.
oppose. Yeah, right. Whatever that means.
So, what would you guess the people in that group that were actually for the levy? That's a tough one.
That is a tough one. I probably know about 5 people that I could think of that were in support of the levy in our central committee.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now there's the other. This is the kind of show we have, Joshua.
Okay.
In case you didn't know, there's the other challenge. What happened to the rest of the Republicans who should have a backbone and stand up for what they think? Oh, nice answer.
Well, yeah, I mean that is kind of a toughie, but I think, I mean, what was the motivation behind not wanting to take a stand?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think some people didn't want to
alienate anybody.
They didn't want to alienate.
But that sounds like Democrats.
Yeah, but wait a minute.
There are those in the party that I know that were against the levy that were against taking a position, because they believe that we should have a consensus in our party. But I believe that we vote for a reason, and we vote to take a position. And if the PCPs vote to take that position, we will stand by it.
Yeah.
Well, when the people vote too, I think we should stand by it. And how many times have we voted? How many times have we said no to a levy?
Yes, quite a few. But you know what? I respect that now. The party leadership here is they seem to be having a strong hand on this thing, and instead of going weak-willed and letting the minority run over the top of them. It's like, okay, let's take a vote, and the majority rules, and that's the way it ought to be. And I don't even think that they do that in the Democrat. They just tell them, here's what you're going to think, and they go, oh, okay.
Yeah, true. However, we all know that when a couple of people, including Bill Hunker, were invited to come in and make a presentation, that there were people in that group that were so angry about them making a presentation, they tried to stop them. They were, I don't know, yelling, but they were trying to interrupt them, and they repeatedly, including Connie Roach, the assessor, repeatedly tried to stop your invited guest from making. What kind of group does that?
I don't know. I think
Good answer again.
Well, they think in different ways. I'm not sure that we can understand always the way people think, but I think it's important for us to realize we are not against the sheriff. We're not against law enforcement. We want them to have the funds they need to do the job that they need to do. It's just the way this levy was done. It was there was a lot of money that wasn't going to the sheriff's department, and
we couldn't be sure where it was going to go.
No, you couldn't be sure where it was going.
That's the big deal.
And that's the big deal. You need to be upfront and show us exactly where the dollars are going to go and what it's going to be used for. And I think that's what a majority of our voters were upset about.
Right. And you know what? I think, one of the biggest problems that we have is this allocated money issue. If there's some way that they could deal with, somehow just giving the money to the county as a block and let them fund law enforcement and let the pencil pushers, get the pennies.
I keep saying it's impossible. It's impossible.
Well, yes, but it isn't really impossible. You have to have the will to do these sort of things in order to get them done. But the idea that somehow the most important, and it's always like this, and it's for political purposes, they starve out the sheriff.
Yes.
And there's a reason for that, because they want to use that as a club to beat you over the head and get you to vote for the levy.
But that's what we're doing. We're starving out the commissioners, and we're going to use it as a club to beat them to death. Beat them into submission.
Yes.
Really, Joshua, you've been great in answering tart questions, and this is, you feel a little toasty on both sides now, bud?
Well, we're just going to move forward with what we believe is right.
He's such a good sport.
And I don't have a political career, so I don't care. So.
There you go. And I got to tell you something. When Dale says toasty on both sides, we have been riding this issue, like a low rent pony for months now. And I am burned out, and I am glad that this whole thing is over.
Are you tired of this? You know what starts tomorrow, though? Campaign 2016, bud.
Yeah, that's right. That's true.
Okay, thank you very much, Joshua Robinson.
Thank you, and thank you for all you have done.
We're happy to bring this with your help. We brought this from Republican headquarters live out to everybody. That's not been done before.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Yeah. Great. Okay, so Mike,
yes.
I think that what we need to do is get on here. The fellow that was running the camera/phone and everything from across the street and did a good job and following me. That's not easy. Across the street.
That was
great.
But
he's got ideas about the levy, and some of them are valid. So why don't we talk with...
Get on in there.
Yeah. You were supposed to be sitting down and putting in your headphones while I was doing this long meeting.
I was too fascinated by what you were saying.
the praise, of course.
Yes.
Some of his ideas are valid. So tell us the valid ones.
Yes.
Well, on the campaign trail, for example.
Get right up on that mic.
Sheriff Daniels was out on the campaign trail telling us he has all these wonderful plans on how to deal with the budget that was being decreased. And he has plans to work with neighborhood groups. He has plans to improve services in the face of a reduced budget. And this is an opportunity. This is not a loss for Sheriff Daniels. This is an opportunity for him to follow through on those plans and to show the community what he actually meant by that.
We invited him to come and do that tonight. Guess what his answer was?
Yes.
No thanks.
But you know what? I'm happy, Vic, that you have participated in a historic event here, because this has never been done.
No, it's never been done.
No one's ever been done. And TV stations can do this, but they're doing it with thousands of dollars worth of equipment, and we're doing it with hundreds of dollars
We're
worth
doing
of
it with
equipment.
two tin cans and a string.
Yeah.
You guys are amazing.
I think it's fantastic, and this is a historic thing, and more to come in this department, for sure.
Tell him, Viken, how were we able to get that live shot of us there with Art Harvey, with him ignoring me?
Yes.
and he hates me. They all do over there. And when we watch across this, what was your high-tech camera that you were using?
Holy smokes, that was a cell phone mounted on a very, very light tripod.
With duct tape.
With duct tape.
Yes.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
I actually couldn't see the picture on the phone either. I had to sort of rough guess where it was pointed.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Well, that looks like most of his camera work.
He did a good job, and listen, when we go back and look at the beginning of the show, it was kind of all over the place, but it's still fantastic. And the reaction that we got over here when the announcement went out was just everybody went crazy.
We could hear that over there, and we didn't need to have the earbuds. Yeah, right.
So did people in the hallway go
No,
off?
they had guards over there.
So what are they going to do?
Armed guards. Yeah, well, that's Art Harvey there. He's an important person. He's the one that said that the people who oppose government in this county are morons. Please remember that when you're voting.
Ow.
Yeah.
You should. He was giving Dale the cold shoulder. I mean, really, really.
Oh no, we could tell. We could see it. Yeah.
It was awful.
He was he handed a press release to Viken and to everybody else in the room. A dog wandered in. He put it in his mouth. Yeah, everybody got one.
Well, you know what? He did the exact same thing last year.
He did last year. Yeah,
same thing.
He's a prince of a guy, and he'll be counting his own votes next time. Just keep that in mind when you're voting for county clerk.
Well, he made no announcement.
He didn't
to anybody.
He did last year, and he did the year before, and the year before.
Yeah, I didn't think
the numbers
he did.
were.
Oh, really? Yeah.
But no, he didn't want to do that. Well, I'm right there and holding the microphone in his face. No wonder he didn't want to say anything. That's that Dale Matthews. That guy. Those people who aren't even journalists. Okay. We'll live with 250,000 views and 1,000 videos, and the first people to announce to you with the new. Just stop promoting us all the time.
Yes,
right?
I know. I get tired of doing that.
Yeah, really.
So here's an important point there, Dale.
Yes, sir.
You guys are running this operation on a shoestring budget with this equipment that all you can really do is reach out to the public and provide another voice, another perspective. It's not the one that's carefully crafted by the professional media that used to be the keeper of the information, the manager of public opinion. Now the people, you guys, can step out with this gear and present what the other people in this community want to have heard. You've sort of broken through that wall of opinion making. And
we need this guy on more often, Mike.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I mean, boy, you sure are talking some common sense there, pal.
Well, and you know what's interesting? I'll tell you, when you watch the news, you're getting a little teeny snippet of a headline if you're getting any
and
of this.
then they talk over it.
Right, and nothing more. And now with this, we're able to expand on it and talk to a bunch of different people, get a bunch of different opinions about it. I think it's a whole lot more information. It's a whole lot more media.
It's of the people and by the people, and that sounds like something that we should adopt in this country.
Right, and it's for the people too.
Oh, it is that as well. Yeah, yes. Viken, thank you for your help. We also he was nice enough to share some footage of Joseph Rice talking about the Oath Keepers the other day. That was great. There wasn't enough time on the end of it, so it was very hard to cut that off.
You know what? Listen, I swear to God, this guy knows nothing about PR. That's a problem.
Yes.
we have to work together because we're techie nuts, all
and
of
we
us.
get money from nowhere except the bank of Mike and Dale.
That's right. So, and I know Viken loves this kind of stuff because I've seen him with all his gadgetry and all that kind of stuff. So he's digging on this stuff too. If we could find a way to do that in a more reliable way and have it look even better than it did, and it wasn't bad, it wasn't great here tonight, but it was
better than the opposition.
Yeah, right. Which
we were live.
We
are still live, aren't we?
Yes,
We're
yes,
still live, aren't we?
But anyway, we need more Viken.
They had a rather huge budget. They were doing, they hired professional documentary makers and all that. But you guys with your couple $100 budget and, look at this equipment. Anyway, but you guys,
hey,
you guys are providing the popcorn-worthy coverage. I mean, in depth and long enough and entertaining enough to grab a bowl of popcorn, tune in, and find out what the heck's going on.
Right.
So that's why I really support what you're doing, and I hope to help you out in the future.
Yeah, and you know what? I got to tell you, anytime you have some input on some of the stuff you're talking about, you just let me know. We'll get you in on the show.
If he talks like this, we will.
Yes. Well,
that was
how
really
he talks
good
all the time.
Yes.
All right, it's been fun. Thank you much, guys, for letting me play.
All right. Yes. All right.
Okay. Thank you for your time, sir. So what I'm going to do here for a second, Mike, is while this time you get to vamp.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to take off the headset for a second.
Okay.
And I'm going to go. No. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go and grab somebody out of the kitchen because they're all hiding back in the kitchen.
Okay, yes.
And I'll see if I can get them.
But we're going to get.
Yes, first. That's who I was trying to get.
Yes.
Sandy Casanelli has a newscast for us. Okay, and she's going to tell us.
And scoot over a little bit this way.
Okay.
Yeah, there we
so
go.
she's going to tell us what the results are from other counties. Are there other counties?
Yeah.
Apparently there are.
Yes, there are.
In Klamath County, they had 18-100. It was a jail operations levy. I don't know how much it was, but it was also defeated 58.87% to 41.13.
Wow, that's even bigger spread than ours.
Yeah. 7,242 no votes, 5,059 yes votes. Total amount of votes that voted was 12,301. They had one overvote and 195 undervotes.
Okay, and so that was Klamath.
That was Klamath. Now, Curry County, it's the same thing. They had 8-81. It's a sheriff's office 3-year split rate local option tax. It was defeated also, I believe, 57.23% to 42.77%.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
well, and you know what's interesting to note about these two different counties, and the difference in the split, there was even more in those counties. Right. But I have a theory about that. They didn't have a full-on. This was a serious campaign for the levy here in this county.
It was. I mean, they put a lot of money and a lot of, I guess, outside energy into it.
Yeah.
Brookings, Curry County, I should say it's Curry County, not Brookings, but they also had a local tax on motor vehicle fuel sales, but that passed 63.42% to 36.58, and maybe it's because they figured the fuel tax, all the tourists and everything to pay for it.
So that was a gas tax increase. You'd be paying a few more pennies a gallon, essentially. Yeah.
So anyway, so that's the results. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Sandy.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, that was Sandy Casanelli with the reports from other counties. Now, as you see in the ticker down here, the Josephine County Public Safety Levy fails 54% no to 46% yes, and that's a bigger spread than it was last time. And this time, there was even more people, even more voted against it than they did the last time. So
now, Mike, and here, okay, Mike, you may recall that there was this great lady that came on. We put a video up, and everyone was saying, "Who was that lady?" They're just so in love with her, and she got up and she Well, in a very polite way, she told the ministers where to get off.
Yes, she did.
And she's hidden behind a microphone because she's so shy. But this is Pauline Dean. Hello, Pauline.
Hi, Dale.
Hello,
Hi,
ma'am.
Dale.
Yeah, let's see if Mike can reach forward and adjust the mic. It's Mike on mic here.
Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
come up close on the mic there, Pauline.
Just almost eat the mic.
Yes.
Pauline. There you go.
Okay.
It's a live show.
Awesome. There
How
we
about
go.
give it a
Oh.
kiss?
Oh,
Huh?
Okay.
yes. Boy, you're nice and clear. Pauline, you had a lot to say about when the ministers were trying to affect the people who came to church. Can you just sort of tell us what your opinion was about what they were doing, ma'am?
Well, it shocked me, first of all. How could my pastor, one of them being my own pastor, how could my pastor make such I don't know what kind of decision, but it was not a good decision, you know. And how could they take it upon themselves to tell their congregates how to vote? It was unheard of. I have never in my, I won't tell you how many years, that, you know, that was never done before. It was not their, well, everybody has freedom of speech, but this was not in their realm of what they normally do or know how to do, even, I should say. Evidently, they did not know enough about politics to get into it. And so I feel it was really underhanded for someone to get the pastors to, number one, sign the pledge to be for it. If that wasn't bad enough, to go ahead and preach it from the pulpit, which is not good, not right, just unfair. It was such an unfair tactic that I was so passionate about it. I had to speak out about it, and I overreached and overdid themselves, the opposite, and that's probably what turned the tide, that people saw it for what it was. It was like forcing the free American to be told from the pulpit how they should vote. They and I talked about that too, that we can question our authority.
Absolutely.
We are Americans, and we have the Constitution.
The founding fathers questioned authority.
Yes.
Yes, it's a fact of life for us Americans. Of course, we question authority because we have a mind. We belong to this country. It's our country. We are the government. Our authority. We are their authority. If they would have watched the rules.
Yeah.
Mike, woman can be on this show.
Have you noticed
anytime.
that she starts off slow, and then once she gets rolling, she's a juggernaut. She's unstoppable.
A juggernaut. But I just really feel so appreciative that I had a chance to speak, even though they didn't want to hear it. But I could still speak without being put in jail or whatever, you know. And then people listened. I believe people listened, and it made a difference to where they thought, well, I didn't like that in the first place when they told us that. Remember that lady? And they felt like, what are they doing telling us how to vote? Well, now I know I'm not going to vote for it. So I think it worked out. I thank God for it, because he knew what he was doing, and he knew what we were doing, and he put us in the right place at the right time, and look at us today.
I want to wrap up the show with Pauline. Doesn't that sound right?
Okay.
Pauline, please tell us, there are plenty of people out there who have opinions, and they're a little reluctant to get up in front of a group of people.
Oh, it's so nerve-wracking.
So what did you learn? What advice do you have for those people who've got something to say, but they're just like you were, and now there's, well, I don't know. What advice
you have to get past it. You just have to put it aside, because though I was not nervous, but I don't talk much in public, like that, speak out. But I was not really nervous. But when I got up there, I got really nervous. It was because I was so passionate. I was angry.
Yeah.
I was working myself up. But I say, don't listen to your other self. If you don't want to do it, just get up and do it. And I say, if you're passionate enough about something, the words will just come.
Yeah, that's the same way.
Yes.
It just,
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me not vent, but show my appreciation. Yeah. Thank you.
Wonderful show, Mike.
Yep.